What up, family? What up? What up? What up? I'm back at y'all with some more information. Today, I'll be talking about the 7 Hermetic Principles. The 7 Hermetic Principles. Now, these principles have been talked about in many different ancient documents. Usually not, though, because historically, these principles were passed down orally. But in the Kabbalion and in other ancient books where they have metaphysical teachings, you get what I'm saying? The 7 Hermetic Principles help explain these esoteric documents down so that you can receive the message and understand what's being explained on another level. Now I'm gonna go through the 7 Hermetic Principles, and I'm just gonna give a basic description of each of these, and I'll come out with individualized videos extrapolating on the meaning for each of these individualized principles. However, the 7 principles goes like this. Look, the first principle is the principle of mentalism. So that is saying that all creation is formed out of thought or based out of thought, which forms consciousness. Without observation, existence is impossible. To experience, to change the mind, is equivalent to changing the reality. So this principle basically breaks down the divine nature of the universe and how basically the universe is looked at a mental level. It's believed that everything that we perceive is altered by some type of perception that we've gained along the way. And in being able to alter that perception and take on new perceptions, it's almost like a lens which will then in turn alter your reality. This is also getting you in touch with the power of the brain and to actually tap into higher capacities of the brain to become a causer and not really so much of an effect or the result of an effect. But this is talking about higher level alchemy. But I'm going to keep it simple. So that's the first principle, right? The principle of mentalism. Then we move on to the principle of correspondence. The way I've interpreted this principle is that everything on this plane is mirrored in a sense. There's always like an opposite, you get what I'm saying, in order to balance reality out. So when the macros within the micro, the inners within the outer, the state of one realm reflects the potentiality of another. So understanding that the state of your inner world reflects, in a sense, the state of your outer personal world. And how mastering your inner world, you get what I'm saying, how it naturally creates a butterfly effect within the realities of others. So, see, because we are always focused on trying to change or trying to convince things on our outside. But we got to understand that when we adopt this type of perception, you get what I'm saying, it's a adverse reaction that happens because the outside is not matching up with the inner vibration. Now, in order to get things that match up with the inner vibration, you have to first of all master that inner energy and be able to attract that vibration towards you. That's why it's not really manifesting anything new. It's manifesting everything that you were supposed to have had this whole time. So correspondence is very important because understanding this principle and mastering this will be able to master your relations with others and communicating to others and relating to others, which will have a massive effect on the world. If you can affect one person, it's a domino effect. That person affects another, and then that person affects another. Before you know it, it's a whole energetic grid that is created. Okay, so that's the principle of correspondence. Then we move on to the principle of vibration. Now, This is nothing is at rest. All existence has a vibration, frequency and sound attached. To master energy, one must recognize it within all things. The power of symbolism carries the signature of creation. So when it comes to our reality, science touches on this topic a lot, but it's talking about particle fusion and understanding particles and atoms and how they move and operate and how they vibrate. And when you delve in that deeper science, you'll learn that every single form of existence has is made of atoms and of other things, and that they have a certain frequency attached, which creates waves. And we all know that sound is perceived through waves. So it's basically explaining that all reality and all existence is broken down to sound, light, and, movement or vibration. You get what I'm saying? If we take these three concepts and apply it to almost every other aspect of life and science, we'll understand that this helps solidify a lot of the concepts and theories that we have attempted to implement within our society. So this principle is very important to understand when it comes to mastering energy, because energy is vibration. So understanding what your vibrational stature is, what your polarity is, which I'm going to get into. But understanding that everything has a vibrational sequence and a vibrational frequency to that. And if you bring things that have a matching vibrational frequency, it will naturally expand the vibrational energetic field. So we gotta, use these with these deeper texts. We gotta look at things from a higher level. These are the Hermetic Principles, all right? So we'll move on from the principle of vibration to the principle of polarity. So the principle of polarity states, light can only exist with darkness. Hot can only exist because of cold. There is always an opposite effect or reaction to every action. Tis is the same when it comes to polarity, or you get what I'm saying, differences. Basically what this concept is touching on is that any form of existence is formed from the same base core, you get what I'm saying, stature of energy. It's about the varying degrees of this energy that determines where someone falls on the spectrum. Because you get what I'm saying, polarity and spectrum are synonymous. They go hand in hand. We live on the world and we have poles. You get what I'm saying? It's synonymous. It goes hand in hand. So what this is touching on, sorry, my phone's about to die. What this is touching on is how, you get what I'm saying, without the opposite energy, you get what I'm saying, nothing can really exist in harmony. You get what I'm saying? There's always going to be a opposing force, whatever that opposing force is to you. You get what I'm saying? But it's about also, when interacting with an opposing force that doesn't match your vibration, you have a choice what to polarize yourself to. You can choose to polarize yourself to the same energy as that opposing force, or you can choose to polarize yourself to something on a whole different, varied degree. It's all about responsibility, taking responsibility for your actions. This is how you become more powerful within your own world, and this is how you start to form and create your own reality. Okay, moving on. Sorry, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't prepared for that. But fifth, the principle of rhythm. So the principle of rhythm explains that there is a rise and a fall, a spring and a winter in every form of existence. To let flow is to let live. The cycles of life keeps existence clean. So we got to understand the the deeper meaning when it comes to that. It talks, even think about the moon, how the moon pulls the waves back and forth. If we didn't have the gravitational pull of the moon, of the waters of the moon, the emotional being, the emotional state, you get what I'm saying? The fact that some things begin and that they end, life and death, and that flow, that natural, you get what I'm saying, rhythm that is associated with life and the cycles of life and the cycles of reality. We would be in total chaos. We would stagnate, and then things would pollute, and it would eventually become a swampy existence. Just think about stagnant water and water that flows. It is visible, it's clear that you see the difference, the type of beings that exist in them, the type of beings that thrive in those type of environments. It's the same thing when we applying these principles to reality as well. There's also always going to be a rise and a fall. There's always going to be a growth period and a shrinkage period, a starting over point, a climatic point. But that is what makes reality reality. If you never have a square one, you can never get to the next level. So, I feel like that's what that principle is kind of touching on. Get what I'm saying? So, from that, you tie into the principle of cause and effect. To cause, or for every cause, there is an effect. When one masters self and determines the power within his own will and reason, he becomes a causer and not one who is affected. However, all must answer to spiritual law. One law can only be negated by another. So, this I interpret this principle in a pretty esoteric way, but I feel like it's talking about, you get what I'm saying, being a bystander of your reality, and how there's always something that's going to cause and affect you, right? But when you start to master yourself, master your reality, master your interactions and your energy, you polarize yourself towards a more causing type of energy. So you're able to be the one in control of your reality and the one that's causing things, instead of feeling like reality is the one that's in control of you and it is just simply affecting you. You become a co-operator in a sense of your reality. And that is what the principle of cause and effect is talking about. And when it comes to the light workers and the shamans, and you get what I'm saying, the darkness workers, and whatever type of spirituality, you get what I'm saying, people tend to call themselves in today's reality. This talks about mastering your energy. And also, before you can consider yourself a powerful being or grasp whatever power is to you, you have to be able to understand the ramifications of your actions within your reality, and also how you play a part within everything. You get what I'm saying? Once you get centered and once you have a higher understanding or overstanding of this principle, then it leads to an entirely different segment of principles. But that is for, you get what I'm saying, a more advanced talk. But like I said, for basic knowledge, I'm gonna keep it simple. So that was the principle of cause and effect. And then finally, I'm gonna wrap it up at the principle of gender. So before everybody start, you know what I'm saying, hopping off the rails, let me read this one. All life was gifted the yin and the yang, or masculine and feminine energy. The masculine energy is hot. It creates and builds. The feminine energy is cool. It nurtures, cultivates, and replicates. To pose both aspects of one being or one's being is to be closer to the highest self. So we all understand that the highest force, if we believe in a highest force, you get what I'm saying, has both the masculine and feminine energies, of course. You get what I'm saying? We talk about the father mind, we talk about Mother Nature, you get what I'm saying, and how the heart and the mind, you get what I'm saying, they're all housed in the same body, but they're two different organs. They have two different energy signatures. It's the same thing when it comes to masculine and feminine energy. You get what I'm saying? And this concept is replicated on our 3D world all over. You have plugs and you have outlets. You get what I'm saying? You have the 0 and the 1. You get what I'm saying? You have the gender energy, or basically the two different energy types, all throughout our society. And it's essential that you have these two energy types within your own being, because it leads to the completion, or not even the completion, but the unification of your highest self. Because you got to understand, your creative, you get what I'm saying, artistic energies will be described as a feminine energy, and your more how you say, you're more when you, damn, y'all know what I mean, when you basically plan things out, you're more calculated actions, when you measure things, when you build and you use your hands to actually bring forth something into the physical world. That is a masculine energy. That is a creation energy. So we got to understand, when we want to learn more about ourselves, when we want to learn more about our higher purposes and the principles, and even we want to learn about you get what I'm saying, spirituality throughout these documents, having a higher understanding of these energies will be absolutely beneficial to you. So, you get what I'm saying? I'm going to just leave that principle there. It can be extrapolated on, but I feel like for the sake of simpleness, I think that that's a good enough explanation. But, yeah, those were the 7 Hermetic Principles. Like I said, you can do your own research and look up. There's many other people who talk about these principles in different ways, just so that you can have a higher understanding of, you get what I'm saying, some of the things that are spoken about in holy texts, you get what I'm saying, and in spiritual texts and tablets, and even through your own self, you get what I'm saying, and maybe a lot of things that you've learned throughout your years, and when you read these and actually study these principles and, apply them in your own life, you will learn how they make sense of a lot of things that, or connect the dots between a lot of things that you thought were separate. And this will lead to a more higher understanding of yourself. So, yeah, I just wanted to drop those few jewels on y'all. Definitely look into that. Definitely do more research. But those were the Hermetic Principles. I will be putting out more videos regarding that content soon. Thank you for tuning in. If you got to the end of this video, I appreciate y'all. Send y'all love, light, and plenty of creative energy. And may you continue to grow on this path. All right, peace.